What's up, everyone? Today we're going to be going over a very important subject, and that is starting your car for the first time after 20-30 years. There's a lot of things that I generally do to make sure that we're going to have a great success rate, and so far, so good. We pulled the 63 Cadillac Coupe de Ville out of a pole barn that it sat there for 30 years and drove it down to a White Castle just above New Jersey and then home. It's like 350 miles, not a problem. The other thing that we did was we pulled a 1970 Buick Skylark out of Texas, drove it all the way home, and that was 2,500 miles. And there's a lot of things that I generally do to make sure that we're going to have a very good time. One, we always check the cylinders to make sure that there's no damage to it. Perfect example is the 1967 SSRS Camaro my stepdad owns. It's been sitting, or has been sitting, since 1983, and currently inside of it is a 454 out of a 1970 Chevelle SS. Those are like hen's teeth. You don't just destroy those engines. And what ended up happening was cylinder number 3 had a little bit of rust. And you can actually see that he has domed pistons in there, so he did a little bit of hot rodding in that. And we wanted to make sure that we didn't just eat that $20,000 engine or better. I don't know. Whatever LS6 engines are going for these days. So we went ahead and just pumped the brakes. Now, when we added this to the fleet, which is the newest car, I got really excited because anyone that's following the prices of these know that even in the condition that it's in, being a sunroof car, it goes for around $12,000, if not a lot more. Especially if they're paint, if that had clean paint, it's a $25,000 to $30,000 car all day. And so when I picked it up for less than $3,000, I was just like, oh my God, because it had a blown head gasket. Now I knew it hadn't run for a while, and after looking at some of the receipts, I know that, and the story behind it, I know that it had the engine rebuilt in 2011, and very shortly after that the engine had a head gasket blown again, and it turned out all it was, the people that rebuilt the engine just torqued down the head bolts to factory spec, which were from the factory under torque. So we torqued them from the 58 foot-pounds up to the 74 foot-pounds to make sure that it would hold together, and I drove it around no problem. Heck, I even blew one of the intercooling pipes off and got it home. I only went like maybe 2 miles altogether, but I never really got it out to do a proper shakedown on it until recently, because we've been incredibly busy. I drove it down to the fire department to see how it did for a 10-mile ride, 5 mile there, 5 mile back kind of thing, and I was letting it idle in the parking lot while I was talking to one of the guys. I was like, man, that guy has like really rancid gas in his fuel tank, and you can smell it just while it's running. And I didn't even, I still wasn't thinking, Brian, check the gas in this thing. So I drove it home, and once I actually put it on load trying to get up the hill at a reasonable pace, it just was bogging. It was running like total garbage. So when I got home, I was like, dang, did I blow the intercooling pipe off again? Nope. All tight, everything's underneath the engine bay, ready to rock and roll. So I'm like, maybe it was me with the bad gas. So I take off the fuel filler neck or cap, and it was, oh my God, horrible. Absolutely atrocious. So fortunately, Toyota has a little plug on the bottom of these cars. You can actually take it out. The gas came out, had 11 gallons of just total garbage gas. And it was so bad, we had to close all the windows in the house. That's how bad the gas smelled. So, a good chance this thing was sitting with that gas in there for 10 years. And you can see the fuel right here. It is, it looks like hard cider. Like, gas isn't meant to look like that. And you can see the particles on that was a clean mason jar. And you can see the particles on the bottom of it. There's a little bit of metallic, a little bit of bleh. So I'm really hoping the fuel tank isn't bad, because they're like $700 or better. Yeah. Hopefully everything's all right. Maybe we just need a new fuel pump for it. In which case, we have a new fuel pump for the Black Supra. We'll probably just take the fuel pump out of the Black Supra and stick it in here, because the new one for the Supra is going to be high volume. So, without further ado, check your gas. Don't run the crap that's in there from sitting for 10 years or 5 years or even 3 years. Get it out of there. Don't trust it. It's garbage. Don't pour fresh gas in there thinking that it's going to offset the garbage. Drain it, siphon it out, do whatever, get it out of there. Total garbage. Just stop. Ooh, that differential is in fact leaking. So we're gonna have to pull that out and put new seals in that. And then we have enough for one, but we're rebuilding, or at least putting new seals in the one inside the Super because that one is leaking. Then we have the shield for, or at least it's not really the best shield in the world, but it's something to kind of protect the fuel tank from rocks and stuff like that. That's actually still intact, which is surprising. I don't think I own one that still has that. I don't think I've ever owned one that still has that. So pretty straightforward to take this out though. Up in front, I don't know if you can see it up there, we have 2 bolts, 1 on either side, and then 4 bolts, 2 on either side here, and that will just drop the fuel tank. And that's the plug I was telling you about. It's not all the way in, so it is seeping out and wetting the bottom of it. But boy, it still reeks horribly down here. So let's go ahead, get that out. We'll get a cleaning solution in there, swish it around, and make sure that there's no significant damage to the tank, and hopefully we can get away with just putting it all back together. Well guys, if you're looking to help support the channel, like I'm about to support this fuel tank, head over to Blacktop Yacht Club. Not only does he have a lot of really good merchandise in general, but he is the official place to be able to pick up Lunar Outlaws Garage's merchandise, whether it's stickers or t-shirts. I think even soon we'll have our own coffee. Now, back to the matter at hand. I think this is a, I want to say it's a 14. Where's my 14? I think it's a 14. We're sporting the fuel tank just so that the straps have a little bit of release from the weight so it doesn't just pop down. I'm going to take these right off. It is a 14 millimeter. Should have soaked these things beforehand. Actually, you can soak them from above, believe it or not. But I didn't. I'm not going to. Oop. Should probably loosen them. Before the impact gun loses its ability to impact, and I lose the ability of hearing. That's tight. We want to loosen it. Oh. Give it back. There we go. Loosen these 2 up here. Retrospectively thinking, should have gone front back, but I'm committed. We're going this way. This is in remarkably good shape. Still can't believe it. These things, like a lot of other Japanese cars, based in the Northeast, more so than its muscle car counterparts, oh geez, really rot out. I mean, don't get me wrong, muscle cars rot out here too, but it goes to show how badly these things rot. So I brought 2 flavors, the breaker bar and the breaker bar. We'll set that aside for now. See if we can't get this thing loose. Remember, if you tighten it more than it's already tightened, it'll break. But we don't want to break it. Or do we want to strip this thing here? So we got tighten it, loosen it. So that would be tighten it, loosen it. Yeah. I like those really awesome, strong Milwaukee impact ones that will spin the car around it. But I also like not having to pull out broken bolts that were already difficult to get out. They just needed a little bit of assistance. Bolts look pretty good. No significant rust. Now, in theory, if you were using a lift, like those spoiled people do, you'd be able to actually just take the 2 bolts off the front, and these would be able to pivot down. See, there's a little hinge right here. But since I don't even have a garage, I don't have a lift. So this is what we got. Now, this is where I regret doing it the way that I did it and not going the other way. That's a receipt for something. Huh. I think that was stuck to the jack or something. All right, well, we'll put it there for now. These use a bigger one. Probably going to be, I'd imagine, a 17. Hopefully this doesn't require a breaker bar, because that will be a nightmare. Again, because I'm going out of order here. In theory, this should come down. And now what we're going to have to do is this should be broken free. Oh man. We have to wiggle this out and get access to all the bits and pieces above, which I can't get the camera up there, but I'll show you afterwards. It's basically just lines that we have to disconnect. Again, we're going to be replacing fuel lines, it looks like. The reason why I say that, someone cut one of the hard lines and put a union in. I don't see what that's all about, but we got to go ahead and take this apart. And then we'll be able to get to see just how freaking long. I need a haircut, something freaking bad. Look at this. I look like I'm some like used car salesman from the 70s. For just 3 easy payments, I can get you in this car, no problem. Not this car though. We'll get you one off of the showroom. We want you, you know, can't sell this one though. I don't know what that was, but I need a haircut. All of them. Dad jokes. All right, some good, some bad, and some ugly. One, that's normally rotted out on these cars. Looks like we have a little bit of stuff starting to form right there, but that's just a wire brush, clean it up. And a little bit of paint, good to go. Fuel tank, exterior, looks awesome. No noticeable issues whatsoever. Now, the bad is, oh, it's not focusing here. That union is not factory fresh. And if we kind of scoot down here, that filter looks like garbage, so we'll have to pull that off, put a new filter in. And then the actual units itself, so you have our charcoal return for, you know, all that wonderful emissions garbage. Also, so you don't have, you know, fuel vapors entering in the cabin and, you know, killing you or something like that. The fuel sender unit, or the fuel level sender unit, as well as the actual sender unit itself. Again, factory fresh union there. Also, if we scoot up here, I don't know if we can get it to focus up there. Let's see, come on. Whoever did that little repair is, they didn't put the hose clamp, which is sitting right around there, back onto where it belongs. So we'll just strip this off and pop her open and see what she finds inside there. It doesn't look particularly good, but yeah, we need a new fuel sender unit, and that way that should come with the new hose, everything the way it's supposed to be, and we don't have to worry about that nonsense. So anyways, pretty good all in all. 30 some odd years old. Now if this was something like an A body, honestly I'd probably just order a new fuel tank. They're like $200. they're pretty prevalent, and the chances of it being bad at this point is pretty high. But these, like I said, used go for around $700. There's not a really big aftermarket for these, so you're going to be kind of stuck with what you get. This hose is junk, so we're going to have to get new fuel line. So we're just going to clip these. Garbage. With how old these are, you wouldn't want to reuse them anyways, but they're pretty hard. And then I didn't grab anything to disconnect that one, but I want to at least get these off. Yep, okay. So this is a brand new fuel line too. At least, no, it's not. This, I take that back, that's not new. That's old. But it looks really good. Come on. This isn't a paid sponsorship, but anyone out there that works for Klein that wants to be a paid sponsor, call me. I pretty much, mostly because of being an electrician for a long time, I found that Klein makes some of the best screwdrivers. That said, technically speaking, this particular screwdriver that I'm using is not the right screwdriver for this tool. Not the right tool for this job. But even though it's not the right type, you still get a really good amount of engagement with Klein screwdrivers. Also, they're just really nice to use. So, I started this one, but I think what I would like to do, I should go get a Ziploc bag first off, which I will. I'll go get a Ziploc bag. I'll be right back. I keep forgetting I actually have these. Don't know who makes them. They were gifted to me, but they're really nice because they're convenient to grab. You put the whole part, generally you can put the whole part in there unless it's a really big part. Even the rubber little protective pads for, you know, vibration and what have you, they're in really good shape too. So I am worried that we'll have to get a new one of these too. Hopefully not. Actually, you know, most of this, it's just surface rust and a little bit of dirt. You know the straps that were holding this fuel tank up? They're in really good shape. Well, let's just ignore what I just saw here and talk about just how nice this is. Yep. It's a nice sunny day out. Yeah, I'm not going to open that one up now. Let's check this one first. Uh-oh. I didn't seat that one in before giving her the old what for. I think I just spun that one. This is turning out really oh, there we go. These larger ones are 8 mil. So let me go get an 8 mil up. I'll be right back. You know, these nondescript sockets I got from a yard sale, with MMD 608 8mm. I know you guys are like, just open the dang thing. If you just saw what I saw, you wouldn't be rushing either. It's not an 8mm, which is surprising. It is an 8mm. Didn't fit a second ago, but it does now. Okay, new gasket, a little wire brushing. The charcoal canister return looks great. You know, we'll just totally ignore what we saw prior. Throw that in this bag. I would label it, but I know what it is. Let's just say we're not going to have to label that one. We will have to label the screws though. There goes my water. Also, that's that bolt is in fact seized in here. There we go. Let's just loosen these up and hope that these are in good shape. I really should make the comment, hopefully the actual tank itself is in good shape. I wasn't planning on taking the neck off, but I am now. The moral to the story, guys, if you're planning on leaving a car to sit for a tad bit of time, I'm going to open this up first because we're already going to be replacing the fuel filler, sending unit, not fuel filler. Hopefully we're not replacing that. Yeah, my stomach dropped when I opened that up. But if I don't look at it, it doesn't exist, right? I mean, it works, right? Right? Yeah. Oh, I didn't get that one. You know, it's not amazing. I always get a kick out of the wire being inside the tank and somehow it not, like, what if this was to spark? You know, that kind of thing. But, you know, it's really not terrible. Okay. Moving on. I don't know if I can get this out with my, where did my screwdriver go? You guys following along at home, where'd my screwdriver go? Okay, so, scale of 1 to 10, that's like a 3. I mean, this is, ooh. I can't see in there, I need to get a light. I mean, this is just powdered on the outside of it. I'm really surprised this was working at all. I mean, just take a look at that, guys. Just look at this. Look at garbage. Joking's aside. Not joking, that is garbage. That hurt my feelings. Woo! Junk. So how is this? Where was this? I just grabbed it, not realizing I just grabbed it, and I was just looking for it. I'm losing my mind! Wish somebody would tell me I'm fine. Wish somebody would tell me this fuel tank was fine. Man, that was on a, I'm like trying to deflect and use what little humor I have as a coping mechanism. Because this is getting progressively more expensive as we screw around with this fuel tank. Okay. I mean, that's not bad at all. This is just a matter of a quick little, not even with a wire brush. I bet you this will clean up just fine with a Scotch-Brite pad. So you just take a lighter and you put it in there so you can see, you know, kind of like the old miners. You just get your coal gas light, and just look down in there. You know what I'll do is use the flashlight on here with the camera, record, so you can see what I'm seeing. So we have some rust on the top side of the fuel tank, but the bottom looks really good. So I think what we're gonna have to do for this is rinse all the gas out, well, dump all the gas out. You can see all the debris that's just kicking around, mostly just from right here is fine. It just seems like wherever the gas wasn't rusted, so it's just a matter of cleaning out the tank. It's a solid tank though. Everything inside it looks good. It's just really filthy in there, and partly because of the scale that formed right where the gas wasn't. So we'll clean out the tank, see if we can't get a new level sending unit, or a sensor unit, as well as the actual sending unit. And we'll see if we can't get a new one of these. Yeah. Moral of the story: don't fill up your tank, or at least, especially with a car that has a drain plug on the bottom of it. You know, you could have siphoned it out, but there's literally a drain plug on the bottom of these things. If you're planning on letting your car sit for any duration of time, make sure you get all the gas out. When I stored my my Mark III Supra, the other one, the black one, for about 12 years, I actually drained all the fuel out and left the plug kind of like you saw it. This one weeped, and I took the fuel filler cap off. That way, any fuel that was left in the actual thing would have went away, you know, evaporated. That's what I'm looking for. But yeah, this fuel tank is good. It's just needs a heavy cleaning. So I know what I'm doing. Cleaning it all up now. Oh, hey there. Didn't know you guys were still around. But if you are, remember to hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up down below. I appreciate it. Helps the channel out a lot. Now, what did we learn today? 1, I don't have depth perception because I keep hitting myself with this. 2, this would have been restorable if it wasn't for the broken line. I'm not a fan of having unions in line. It's one more thing to go bad. Most of this is just surface rust. And actually, I think most of it is just from the fuel slowly evaporating out of the car. It doesn't evaporate very well out of these systems because how well sealed they are. It's not like our older cars that we work on. They just kind of evaporate through every orifice it can find. They probably didn't brand new, but everything I have is old. So anyways, this would have been fine. It looks like it's been replaced at one point. Someone butchered it together. They left this hose clamp just kind of floating around inside there. What the heck? Fortunately, it looks like the sock held up though. So all the crap that's inside the tank, especially the bigger stuff, that would have been filtered out by this. And then all the smaller stuff should have been filtered out by that. So the inline fuel filter. So I don't think we're going to have to replace or repair or clean any of the injectors, which is good because they're a pain in the neck to get to. But yeah, is this something cool? Nope. Just a truck, old truck, neighbor's truck. This thing right here could have been salvageable, but butchery. Fortunately, they're like $200 with the fuel pump. Not a bad thing. This, however, is $300. And again, I think most of it was just the fuel evaporating, and we were able to actually most of it just chipped off. And I used a stainless steel Dremel wire brush to clean it up. It's nice and soft, doesn't do anything bad. Little bit of pitting along the top, but you know, after we were done cleaning it up with that and a bronze or brass bristle brush, I hit it with a little bit of parts cleaner, actually electronic contact cleaner. And I went ahead and tested it out, and seems to be accurate. I don't, based off of how everything's working, it does work the way it's supposed to be, according to the book. Why that was difficult to say, I don't know. Gaskets, I think Toyota still sells them, so I'm gonna get on the horn with Toyota and see if we can't get new ones of those. We won't throw that one. Now this cleaned up pretty nicely with nothing more than a green Scotch-Brite and contact cleaner, again because it was right next to me. I think I'm going to do a little bit more of a job on the hard to get spots. Just get the crap out that I can. Less likely to get pulled up in the fuel system. And again, the fuel tank, I want to get something that can plug up the top and just swish it around. So again, I know I've said it several times, don't store cars with fuel inside the fuel tank. If you're going to store it more than a year, make sure it's empty. 2, if you're going to be starting cars up, check everything. Dot your T's and cross your I's. Yeah. And at the end of the day, make sure that the fuel that you're running through the system isn't total trash. Because you can end up, fortunately, we have intact fuel filter down below, and most likely a intact fuel filter in line. And we didn't suck any of that crap up through there. Whether it's your fuel injectors or your carburetor, that stuff can do damage, and it can clog a hole, especially if you're running carburetors. Like, don't do it. Make sure you're running clean gas through the system. That's it, guys. You know, we got lucky. It's going to cost us around $200 to get the fuel tank back together and put inside the car. You really can't ask for anything better than that. So sometimes it pays to be lucky. Sometimes it's better to be lucky than being good. So speaking of being good, you guys have a good one. Keep your shiny side up. Go out and wrench on cars. Till next time, God bless.